You know what? Screw it. I was going to do it anyway at some point. I might as well just do it now. Snipe's new rosters came out. Lovely friend of the channel, Snipe and Score Productions. Subscribe to him on YouTube. Do it. If you are on, that's a Yeti. If you are on an Xbox Series console, you can download these rosters now, I'm pretty sure. And we're going to check them out. And of course, in the meantime, support people like Tactics, support people like Vassy as well. And then support me once I finally put out my actual first rosters sometime in late January to mid-February, if not March, because, has EA made it a pain in the ass to put together good rosters this year, because, boy, they don't care. But there it is, Snipes Ultimates, 99 to 2,000 roster with nearly as many freaking players created as the years covered in the database itself, which is absurd. And again, on his channel, he mentions it in the description. He has the video to kind of cover, hey, here's how you want to set up the league, because of course you have the ability now through custom franchise to properly replicate stuff. Snipe, you have lovely timing. I'm glad you're here to get my thoughts and opinions in a live format. So I'm going to go over this and kind of give you my thoughts because, yeah, I normally do a video like this anyway, and it makes sense to just do it on stream now that we're here. So with that, I'm not going to scroll through all of the created players because I know Snipe does it or did it on a video. If not, you at least put it out on Twitter. It takes a long time. It takes like 3 minutes. I believe it. Yeah, there's a lot to say the least. And we will go over all of the rosters here in a second. But of course, there are all the custom teams as well. Snipe, if I'm not mistaken, it's still like the Bruins that are in the game. You still have those as the rosters, but then you also made a created version of each team to try and better replicate the jerseys and stuff like that at the time. Let me know if I'm wrong. So we have, again, recreation of every single team, both NHL and AHL, for the sake of replacing, which is cool as shit. I am going to have to check out all the jerseys for those as well, like I normally do. And shout out to the Massachusetts Lock Monsters. Later became the Lowell Lock Monsters. Sweet. All right, let's take a look. I mean, 99, 2000, you're talking about 5 to 6 year old me. So this is the prime of my hockey fandom, you could argue. So let us take a look here, shall we? So NHL side of things, the Ducks rocking with franchise-wise using real teams will get you the unsigned prospects. Using non-real teams will get you the jerseys. It's also a jersey bugs, some font will glitch. I'm glad that's still in. Let's take a look at the Ducks. Shout out to Carnage, by the way. 5 months. Appreciate you. 86 overall, Geehy Bear. Not going to call out everybody. Freddie Olesen, Oleg Tverdovsky. Only an 82 for Ruslan Saleh. Boo. Boo, Snipe and Score. Boo. But Solani and Korea, 92 each. Gold X Factors each. I respect it. He's got Steve Ruchin with the Silver Quick Draw. Silver Quick Draw for an 85 is interesting. So I'm guessing a 90-plus attribute would be worth a gold Quick Draw, I presume. Fair enough. Shout out to Stu Grimson as an enforcer. Snipe, I will say immediately, my first thought, I like that you've been a little bit more restrictive in regards to X Factors. Your rosters in the past were great, but like, okay, Stu Grimson's an enforcer, so truculence. It was like, it got to be a little bit much, in my opinion. I think it's only going to make this database that much better. Let's see, Arizona, which would be Phoenix, of course. We'll take a look at the custom jerseys and everything in a minute. Chuck, Roenick, Greg Adams, Shane Doan at 23. Christ. Jaha Ilonen. Louis DeBrusque. Father of a legend. Old Louis DeBrusque. They got on defense Teppo Numanen, who had his number retired by the Jets. Just really. That is, yes, his dad, indeed. Sean Burke and Bob Essenza. Goat. Bruins. Byron Defoe, Robbie Tallis. We love ourselves some Lord Byron around here. Defense, Hal Gill, the man. The pride. The absolute pride of St. Stephen, New Brunswick. Don Cherry. Kyle McLaren, Darren Van Impe, Commander, Jonathan Girard. I love Jonathan Girard. Was one of my first favorite players. Marty McSorley. Let's see. Jason Allison. Ooh, 20-year-old Joe Thornton. Don't trade him. If you do a Bruins franchise with this roster, you do not trade him. Do not. Thank you. Ryan Ralston's. Oh, what a team. What a team. God, that accomplished fuck all is my only response. They just did nothing. Buffalo with Sabres legend Doug Gilmour leading the way. Goodness. Clafarada, 20-year-old Maxim Afinoganov. Steve Dangle podcast ruined Maxim Afinoganov for me. Steve Dangle pointed out around the time he was first added to the NHL games, the commentary would call him Offenoganov, and every time I want to just say it as Offenoganov now. It's ridiculous. Alexei Zhitnik. Oof. Sabres team. Can you believe they were less than a year removed from making the Cup final? It's because of this guy, by the way. Dominic Hasek at 35. Marty, oh my God, that combination of Marty Biron, Dwayne Rollison. Some great goaltending. Jesus. Calgary, Fred Braithwaite. All 5'7" of them tonight. Rowan, indeed. Graham Fiora to 78. Phil Housley, Derek Morris. 19-year-old Robin Regier with truculence. It's a good touch. I like it. Wade Belak. R.I.P. You got a forward. Larry Bure. Jerome McGinley. At 22 years old. Max Avad. Oh, a 24-year-old Martin St. Louis, fresh out of college. Goodness, that'd be an interesting team to run a franchise with. Carolina. Got Ron Francis, Rod Brindamore, Sammy Kapanen. Man, Carolina, by the way. This team didn't really do much in terms of, bunch of playoff success, but still. Shout out to Jeff, don't call. Well, actually, it's Jeff, not that Jeff Daniels. Let's see. Paul Coffey, future Bruin. And Paul Coffey, basis. And give it a 5 months. The 5 months. I appreciate it. How are you? Let's see. Irbe and Mark Fitzpatrick in goal. And I gotta say, for the most part, too, overall wise, I'm digging it. I'm digging it, Snipe. I'd call it, from what I've seen so far, fairly accurate. And you do appear to have a pretty good separation between the super high-end players and just kind of, there players. So, Justin Tebow, Steve Passmore for Chicago. Brian McCabe. Malik is a dangler, right? Tony Amani, Alexei Zhamnov, Michael Nylander. Steve Sullivan. This team also did nothing. Eddie Olczyk, father of a legend. Bob Probert's there too. Tremendous. My God, the enforcers on the Hawks. Whew. Colorado. Oh, God. Snipe. I just realized something. About this roster. You said 99, 2000. It's the end of the year, though, isn't it? It's not the start of 99. It's the end of 99, 2000. See, we're in 2000 here, aren't we? Because there's a certain defenseman that's going to be on this team. Because he wasn't on the Bruins. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. Pray to that every night before I go to bed. That jersey right there. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. My goodness. Anyway, back to the forwards. Jesus Christ. Forsberg, Sakic, Hayduk, Drury, Adam Deadmarsh, one of the most underappreciated players in the history of the league. Dave Andreychuk at 36. Criminy. And then would be off that team by the time they won in 2001 and wouldn't win until 2004. Poor Dave Andreychuk. My God. This team was so sick, though. This team was... Love seeing eye for Bork, by the way. And then goaltenders, Patrick Waugh, Mark Denis, and Rick Tabaracci. Unbelievable. Columbus obviously didn't exist yet. They are in as an expansion team, though, if I'm not mistaken. So say hello to noted NHLer Elvis Merzlikins back in 2000. We got the Dallas, though. Eddie Belfour, Manny Fernandez. 91 for Belfour. Pretty damn good. Of course, his team was fresh off of winning the Cup. My God. Zubov, Sador, Hatcher, Dave Manson. All right, Snipe, I got to test something here. What mask does Belfour have? Yeah, he gave him the call. Oh, snipe and score. Snipe and score, ladies and gentlemen. Gave him an eagle mask. Or is it a dragon mask, at least? It's close, though. It's at least close enough to kind of a design he would have had at the time, as opposed to just you being like, Stars mask. Props, snipe and score. Props. I like it. Well done. And of course, for those who haven't used the snipe roster before, again, does his best to replicate the equipment at the time as well. So you're going to see a lot of Vaughn pads. Whole lot of Vaughn. Old school Sherwood sticks and such, which is tremendous. Forward-wise, Mike Modano. Don't go to Detroit, Mike. Don't do it. Brad Hull, Neuendijk, Gary Lettinen, Langenbrunner. This team was sick. Oh, this team was sick. And Guy Carbonneau was there, too. Oh, man. Detroit, Steve Yzerman, as the former president once called him. Steve Yzerman, Fedorov, Shanahan, Larionov. My God. My goodness. Whew. Just depth across the board, basically. Got Lidstrom, Chelios, Larry Murphy, Steve Duchesne, Aaron Ward. This Red Wings team is a wagon. Goalie-wise, Chris Osgood and Ken Reggett. Tremendous. Back when the Red Wings were scary. Edmonton, Tommy Salo, Bill Ranford. It's not going to be a very good Oilers team, is it? Hammerlick, Niinimaa, Pody. Forward-wise, Doug Waite, Bill Guerin, Ryan Smith. It's a little bit better than expected. A little bit more well-rounded than I was expecting. Good old Georges Laraque. Tremendous. Florida, Pavel Bure. Okay, here's the big question, Snipe. Durability on Pavel Bure. 80? 80? Oh, that might be a little bit high. I got a critique. I can't just kiss ass here and hype up a friend. Just saying, he wasn't that injury prone yet. All right. 80 out of what? 200. Fair enough. Got the Pete Worrell, by the way. Svela, Spacek, Hedigan. Paul Laus. Loved when they added in like, legend players, and it's like, yes, Florida Panthers legend Paul Laus in Ultimate Team. Get your card now. It's like that'll get the kids hyped. Paul Laus. Oh man. The King, Stefan Fisette, Jamie Storr. Got Rob Blake at 30 before he was traded to the Avs. Sean O'Donnell, Bruins legend. For forward, Ziggy Palffy, Robitaille, Stumple, Bruins legend Glenn Murray. Snipe putting some respect on Glenn Murray's name. You love to see it, as opposed to EA, who's had him as like a 75 overall forever in their freaking alumni rosters. Pisses me off to no end. Minnesota, again, weren't there yet, so he didn't change anything about the Wild in that regard. Montreal, well, Saku Koivu. Not the best Habs team. Not the best. Although they did have Sergei Zholtak. R.I.P. Oof. Shout out to Big Jim Cummins. We're a Jim Cummins truther around these parts. We are a Jim Cummins truther around these parts. This guy had a hell of a mustache back in the day. Look at that beauty. Look at that. 10 out of 10 stepdad energy for Jim Cummins. What a man. What a man. Oh, that's Deke Slayer. Breeze Vall, Eric Weiner, Craig Rive. 23-year-old Sheldon Surrey. And then the goaltenders, Jeff Hacken and Jose Theodore. Let's see, Nashville. First year for the Preds, too. Mike Dunham and Thomas Vokoun at 23. I refuse to believe Thomas Vokoun wasn't birthed at age 34. Kimmo Timonen and Bill. Oh, speaking of great mustaches, by the way, Bill Holder. Billiam Holder. Hold on a second. Look at this man. Look at that. That man spends every Sunday on the couch drinking beer, watching NASCAR, and grilling steaks. And I would be happy to call him Dad. Got the Bill Holder. What a guy. What a guy. Again, everybody, for those of you just tuning in, we're looking at Snipe and Scores 99 to 2000 roster that just dropped. I'm going to play some franchise in a little bit after this. Not quite yet with this roster, but don't be surprised if you see me do some franchise mode with this roster, because this is looking good. I'm Snipe, I'm trying to think of how to word this as to not have it sound like condescending or anything. Because you were already very, very good at this. You keep getting better. And it forces, especially too, granted, nobody else is dumb enough necessarily to try and compete with you in a flashback standpoint, but in a general sense, I see the quality here, the consistency throughout, and it forces people like Vasi, Tactics, and myself who do modern roster stuff to be that much more on our game here, because this is really, really good work. Like I said, I think you've gotten better in regards to overalls, potentials, X Factor distribution. And I am very intrigued to see how this plays out in a franchise mode perspective, because this looks damn good. Aside from Marty Brodeur being higher than like an 82 overall, because we all know he's the most overrated goalie of all time. There we go. That'll get some people riled up. Kevin Weeks and 20-year-old Roberto Luongo in goal. Ooh, God, an Islanders franchise would be fun. To not trade Luongo, to not trade Zdeno Chara. An Islanders franchise would actually be pretty fun. And shout out to Ian Herbers. You remember him. Good old Ian. Yeah, shout out to 6'9", 250 baby Chara. What a man. Forwards. Oh, God, never mind. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be fun. When Mariusz Strakowski is the top forward, it was a good player. They do have young Ole Jokinen and Tim Connolly, but Jesus. Shout out to Bill McCult. I don't need to look it up. He also had a good mustache. Oh, man. Steve, don't call me Spudweb. The Rangers. Some Theo Fleury, Peter Nedved, Adam Graves. Not the strongest time period for the Rangers. They'd pull off a trade not long after this for a certain somebody that we'll see coming up on a later team. I saw AJ say, Theo, stay off of Twitter, which is probably a good idea for his sake. Defense, Brian Leach, Leafs legend. They had a pretty good defense. Just the forward core wasn't that great. And then Mike Richter and Kirk McLean in goal. Tremendous. Ottawa with Patrick Lalime and Tom Barrasso. Defense is Wade Redden, Jason York, 21 years old, Chris Phillips. And I refuse to believe he was ever that young. Alfie. Good old Alfie. Noted assistant coach Daniel Alfredson. 21-year-old Marian Hossa. Oh, was this the haircut? Oh, Snipe, did he already have the haircut? Oh, I was hoping he had the mullet at this point, but yeah, it's fair. I guess it would have been a year or two before that he got rid of the mullet, huh? Damn. Well, they have Joe Juneau and Rob Zamner, so I feel a little bit better. Shout out to Kevin Dineen, future head coach of the Portland Pirates. 19-year-old Mike Fisher. Love to see it. Let's see, Philadelphia. Oh, my God. Lindros, Recchi, Leclerc, Primo, Tocchet, Damon Langkow, Keith Jones runs the damn team. 19-year-old Simon Gagne. The Thrashers are in, yes, and I'll showcase them soon. Oh, Craig Berube. Complain to the refs more, you fucking loser. Defense, Eric Desjardins, Dan McGillis. They had some grit. Go figure. They also had Zarley Zalapski, which is tremendous. And then goaltending-wise, John Van Beesbrook, Brian Boucher at 23. Not bad. Pittsburgh, Ron Tugnut, J.S. Oban, Peter Skudra. Defense led by Yuri Slager. Ooh, some rough, thin years for the Penguins on defense. My God. Yikes. But at forward, Jágr was still there. Not for too much longer. Like the abilities for Jágr, too. Just make him a hoss and impossible to knock off his skates. I like it. Kovalev, Straka, Robert Lang. Goodness. Oof. Okay, the quality starts to drop a little bit. Just a little bit, but I mean, you got Jágr leading the way. It's mostly Jágr and his band of merriment. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Look at him, though. He did pretty well in the face, given the fact you can't take his actual face. Yeah, Jágr had the haircut, too. Hate to see it. Yeah, hate to see it. Oh, man. The Sharks. Vinny Damphus, Owen Nolan, Jeff Friesen. 20-year-old Patty Marleau. Marco Sturm was there. We got on defense. Gary Suter, Brad Stewart, Mike Rathje. In goal, Steve Shields and 24-year-old Evgeny Nabokov. All right. The Kraken, obviously, they're in the game, but he didn't do anything with them. Roman Turek and Jamie McLennan in goal for the Blues. Defense, you got Pronger, McInnes, Todd Reardon. Looking good. Mark Bergevin. Did you give him 24-inch pythons? Boy, takes his vitamins and says his prayers. Goodness gracious. When an autofill for you on Google is biceps, because you got pictures like this rocking around. God, I wouldn't have wanted to fire that guy either. Look at just bringing loaded weapons into the office every day. Look at that fucking Chad. Jesus Christ. Sheesh. My God. Shout out to Pavel Dimitra, though. R.I.P., of course. Craig Conroy. Oh, goodness. You can't fit any more juice into those. Tyson Nash is there. Jochen Hesch. Tampa, led by Mike Johnson. Freddie Modine and a 19-year-old, the Jordan of hockey, Vinny Lecavalier. Oh, goodness. And boy, howdy, did the rest of the team suck. Yikes. Svoboda, Kubina, 20-year-old Paul Mara. Ben Clymer, who started off as a defender before moving to forward. Fair enough. The goalies, Dan Cloutier and Kevin Hodson. Yeah, they needed a few years before they won that cup in 04. The Leafs with Cujo. Oh, I gotta check the mask. I gotta check the mask for Cujo. Did you find a good one? Okay, he did just go for the Leafs mask. That's fair. That's fair. Fair enough. Glenn Healy behind him. Defense, Brian Berard, 21-year-old Tomas Kaberle, Dmitry Yuskevich, Gerald Didick. The forwards, Matt Sundin at a 91. Dmitry Khrushchev, Sergei Berezin. Okay. All right, 30-year-old Ty Domi. Wendell Clark was still on the team. Nick Antropov. Kazakhstan represent. The Kuva. Oh, my God. With Marcus Naslund, Mark Messier, Todd Bertuzzi. Oh, boy. Captain Messier on the Canucks. Boy, what an unlikable team between Bertuzzi, Cook. Yikes. What an unlikable team. Got the Jovo Cop, though. Goaltenders, Felix the Cat Potvin. And Gartzna. Is there at least a cat mask, or did you go with the Canucks? Okay, I respect it. Based off of the mask style at the time, the gear. Okay, I respect it. I respect it. Fair enough. Vegas, obviously will just be Vegas. The Capitals. Ole Kolzig, Craig Billington. Defense, Gonchar leading the way. And then at forward, Adam Oates, Peter Bondra, Ulf Dahlen. Fair enough. Old James Black. Mike Eagles. It sure is, Ender. It sure is. And then the Jets, who were the Thrashers. Ferraro, Nat Domincelli. Steve Stais is a right wing. Really? It's either a mistake or I learned something today. Fair enough. Pass Fatvedet. What a name. He started as a forward. I did not know that. There you go. I learned something today. Wow, that defense sucks. Then again, it is Atlanta. Damian Rhodes and Norm Maracle in goal. So yeah, he fully recreated NHL. The AHL as well will be accurate. You can see Abbotsford with Harold Druken, who sounds like a fucking Street Fighter character. But the AHL will obviously be accurate as well. Like a young Sean Horkoff for the Oilers, Fernando Pisani. Not going to fully look to the AHL. Yashin on Belleville. Is that in preparation for a trade? I do wonder. And again, he does have the created AHL teams as well. So if you want to do the custom teams, you can, to have the actual accurate clubs at the time he was on contract holdout. That's fair. That is fair. Got Dan Boyle in the minors. Looking good, man. There's a lot of potential for fun with this one. Whoops, didn't mean to fully back out there. I do want to take a look at the jerseys and such. But the other thing of note, of course, is the prospects that are also in. You can see Jordan Leopold, Jordan Tutu, Chris Beach, Ryan Getzlaff at 14 years old. Damn. All right. Ryan Getzlaff at 14. Sheesh. So again, the player limit for this season was increased compared to what his rosters looked like in previous years. He was able to do more. Shea Weber, boy! Let me tell ya! 14-year-old Shea Weber as well. I like it. Duncan Keith in there at 15. And again, any like real life players have been nuked so that they won't show up. So very, very thorough in regards to NHL, AHL, prospects that have yet to be drafted or anything like that. This looks tremendous, Snipe. This might just be your magnum opus here. This looks phenomenal. And in terms of, again, the custom teams that you can use to replace the teams if you want the more accurate look, like the Albany River Rats are in. Not every team has an alternate, but again, you have jersey recreations for what their look was like at the time. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. Not every logo's in. Obviously, if you want to use the Ducks, you can. Their colors won't be perfect, but obviously, okay, the Ducks have, those jerseys in the game, but you also can only recreate them so well, So, I like it. I like it a lot. Oops. Hello. Oh, okay. That's time. Atlanta. And again, any NHL roster that we looked at, like that Winnipeg Jets roster, that is what this Thrashers roster is set to. When you look at the custom version. So jersey-wise, looking pretty good, too. Bruins! Old Joe Thornton. Fair play. Sabres trying to get the goat head. Snipe, I imagine the numbers, that's what you're talking about with the glitch. As I'm sure you set the numbers to be proper, but they just show up as what they show up as. So I think that's a good example of what Snipe was talking about. So, custom teams, beware that the numbers can still screw up. Carolina. That'd be an easy enough one to recap there. Chicago Wolves. Cyclones, again, all the AHL teams of the time. Got the Dallas Air jerseys as well. Snipe, it's looking good, man. I'm gonna have to do something with this roster. I'm gonna have to, franchise-wise. After we're done screwing around with what we're currently doing, we're gonna have to mess around with this in full. But yeah, at a cursory glance here, just scratching the surface of what this provides. This definitely has a high recommendation from yours truly. This looks absolutely tremendous. Like I said, Snipe's channel, Snipe and Score Productions on YouTube. He goes through a full rundown and guide of how to set up your custom league franchise to accurately, reflect what the league looked like at the time. Oh, the old Pirates. You'll love to see it. So, Snipe, well done. My goodness. The problem is, I think I'm going to have to stop myself from looking through this so that we we don't start something that we shouldn't start right now. But, yeah, again, this looks tremendous. Again, Xbox Series consoles, whether it's an X or an S, make sure you're playing the modern version as well, and check out old Snipe's roster here. The Ultimate 99 through 2000. This might be the best fucking custom roster I've ever seen uploaded. I mean, again, from a historical standpoint, Snipe doesn't have too much competition in that regard because it's very difficult to do. Kirk, thank you for the follow, by the way. Damn. That is very, 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 very well done. My goodness. Snipe, bravo. Everybody make sure to check it out if you can. Again, that deserves your utmost attention and focus right now, to say the least.